Windows aren't always made of glass. Sometimes they are circles punched through paper, or the quiet moments where we allow ourselves to really look in. Today's prompt is window or peek through, and I am thinking about what happens when we stop covering things up and let the light reach even the messiest parts of ourselves. Let the light in. Even the messy bits deserve a view. Hi, I'm Garjana and welcome to day 12 of the July Junk Journal Challenge 2025. Each weekday this month, I've been creating a small page in this accordion-style journal inspired by the daily prompts from Lee at Lee Creates. These videos are filmed while I'm visiting my mum in Germany, which means I'm working with limited craft supplies, just whatever I've brought with me and whatever I can find around her flat. But somehow that makes the process more alive, more real, I find. So, today's page began with this image I have here on top. It's a vintage photo of a young woman printed as a tag. I don't remember exactly where it came from. Maybe a swap, maybe a printable, but it's been with me for a while. And next to it, I have here these few punched out paper circles that my daughter made a while ago from this tag actually. They all ended up in the same little bits and pieces box I packed for the trip. So then I recently also bought a 2-inch circle punch here in Germany, and I thought I will use this to create a large circle, like a cutout, a little window right in the corner here of today's page. I find it always a little nerve-wracking with such a large thing to punch a hole in there. And as soon as I took it away, I even realized this doesn't leave me much more space for decorating. I definitely will keep the circle for like something later in the journal. I love this. But I can see, there's not much space. But maybe that's the point. A window isn't meant to be filled. It's meant to open something. So, but now I'm a little bit at a loss. I can peek through to the other side. That will be tomorrow's prompt, if I could remember correctly, is maps. But what do I do with this large window now? Like always good to go with the Distress Oxide ink around the edges. It always adds a little bit of the vintage flair and makes it stand out a little bit more. It gives a definition, so from both sides, I think I like it. Let's have a look. Yes, it's really this peeking through. Okay, because there is so little space left on today's page, I think I will keep the decorating simple, like this print out tag or punch with the little punched out look through holes can go into that corner there. I think I will just glue it in there because actually it's the only place I can place it. And then I will trim it down so it doesn't block the window. Maybe I can add a flower or some fabric scraps, but maybe it also can just stay. I like that the punched out little circle on the top allows the music notes from below there to peek through. I like that. Then I'm using my bone folder to press it down and really to make sure that it is just at the edge of this little of the fold, just the edge. So that's because if it's not glued down properly, it always will come up. I find there's a kind of sacredness to peeking through a window that wasn't meant to be looked through, whether it's a literal one or an emotional one. We all have those moments when someone sees a part of us we usually hide. And maybe the goal isn't to fling everything wide open, but to create small, honest windows, little circles or big circles where something true can be seen. This page feels like it. A quiet yes to being visible, even just a little, even just in pieces. And even if everything gets jammed like it does here, I just bought this punch. No, that was a little bit of a messy thing here. And there's a little leftover piece that I have to glue down. And now when I look at this woman in this vintage photo tag, I wonder what windows she looked through in her life, what parts of herself she shared, what parts she tucked away. Photos freeze moments, but journals let us keep moving, and maybe that's what I love most about this practice. It's not about capturing perfection, it's about staying in relationship with who we are. So here's my invitation for you today. What's one part of your life that could use a little bit more light? What might shift if you created a small window into it, a peek-through moment that says, I see this, I see me. You don't have to explain it, just notice. Maybe it's a feeling you've kept folded away. Maybe it's a hope you've been afraid to name. Whatever it is, let the light in. Even the messy bits deserve a view. In therapy, there's often this moment when someone says, I've never looked at it that way before. It usually comes after a pause, a moment when something just shifts. It's often quiet and subtle, almost unspoken, but it's like the curtain lifts, even just an inch or two in my case here with the hole, and suddenly there's more air in the room. We spend so much time looking at our lives from one fixed angle, through the same window, the same narrative, the same fear, the same defense, and over time that view starts to feel like the only truth. But what happens when we soften the lens, when we allow ourselves to look again, look differently, not with judgment, but with curiosity, like looking through a different window? Sometimes the biggest breakthrough comes not from effort, but from shifting perspective. A question asked gently, a memory seen in a new light, a pattern that suddenly makes sense when we trace its outline from the other side. Looking in isn't always comfortable. It can bring up discomfort, stir old grief, raise questions we haven't answered yet. But that discomfort isn't a sign we are doing something wrong. It's often a signal that we are getting closer to something meaningful. So when we dare to see ourselves more fully, not just the polished version, but the real, messy, unfinished parts too, something begins to settle. Not because we've solved it, but because we've finally seen it. That kind of honest seeing can be quietly transformative, because what we see with compassion, we can hold more gently. And what we hold gently, we can begin to understand. And from that understanding, a new kind of truth can emerge, one that makes space for all of us, even the parts we used to hide. So that's why I would like to glue down this phrase for today's prompt. Let the light in. Even the messy bits deserve a view. So, finishing today's front page. And when I fold the page over, the circle frames part of yesterday's butterfly, its wings showing just enough to feel symbolic. And when I flip the page forward, I see that tomorrow's theme will be map. So that side will be visible through the circle too. So what I'm creating today is more than a page. It's a link, a view between past and future, between one story and the next. And that feels like such a gentle metaphor for our inner world. We are always looking back while also peeking forward. And in between, there is this small window, a glimpse of what we carried and what we are still becoming. So my friend, I wish you a wonderful day, and I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow again.